Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be playing as Korea, or actually no, Joseon, and we're going to be forming the Korean Empire. Now, this was actually a suggestion given to me actually a while back, right? It's been a while since I've gotten this one, so I thought, I should get around to doing it, finally, like, doing it. So then I decided to, make tribute to Ming so that, like, they would not attack me because like the first time I tried this one, Ming ended up attacking me, and then they steamrolled me all the way and wiped me out. So I like this is actually the second try. So yeah, I came back and I just tried, make better good relations with Ming as much as I can. And so then once I reached Japan, I started attacking from the south. I was decided I was gonna go south to north in this conquests, or in these like conquests that I'm doing, and I started mainly taking over the clans in the island of Kyushu. Meanwhile, like clans to the north declared war on me, but I didn't want to. But Ryukyu, or the Ryukyu Islands, Sengoku Islands, are they called? Wait, I don't know. But Ryukyu, they declared war on me, so I basically just took them over. I mean, like, why not? They're right there. I mean, they're part of the territories I need. Meanwhile, what I kept doing was I kept getting the country, whichever I was about to attack Ming, and then when I declared war on them, that would improve the relations with Ming that I had. I mean, I think I've already done this before in previous videos. And so, yeah, I applied the same strategy here because I wanted better relations with Ming. And so then as I continued on, I realized that I was pretty universally hated in Japan, interestingly enough. I mean, no, go figure, bro. I mean, attacking the nation is obviously gonna not make them mad. But yeah, I got my troops over here and I attacked the two clans that like declared war on me. But another one declared war on me, and then they took the provinces that I took over, and then it started being kind of annoying because they were attacking my provinces in the like Japanese island itself, and when I asked for peace they declined, and then they started attacking Korea itself, and then this war ended up being quite difficult actually. So what do you call, I tried to like make peace with the places that I did attack, and I finally tried to make peace with this country as well, so that, and try to make sure that they didn't take any of my, like, ruin any of my progress. But unfortunately, they didn't make peace. But what they did do is they kept attacking Kyushu, right? So because of that, they were kind of overextended, interestingly enough. And I tried once again for a peace deal. This time they actually accepted it, so I was satisfied with that because I all I wanted was the chance to assimilate my forces. I say assimilate my territories right now. And so once that happened, I just reorganized my military and then just left it, right? Because I didn't have the money um, to wage a war. And then after a while, I declared war again and I just started conquering all over again, right? As you do. And I was essentially trying to like take advantage. I mean, that's the thing though. The good thing about this scenario is that Japan starts divided. So like I can just, as Korea, I can just attack Japan and it'll be super easy. Meanwhile, Joseon, I'm sorry, Ming, like, they kept asking me military access. I didn't accept that. Obviously, I don't want like Ming troops going through my territory, obviously. So once I gathered enough strength, I again attacked another country. I mean, it's like a cycle of wars, like, I mean, of course, you make money, you at least stockpile money, build an army, and then boom, the war starts, right? So I got hit by plague, but who cares? Then I attacked another like clan called Toki. Yep, it's the names. I think, guys, I already did a Japanese forming the Japan video where I played in Sengoku, and like you guys, I'm sure if any of y'all, I mean, that's a pretty old video, but if any of you are still here from watching that, you guys must remember how I misspelled the names. I'm sure you do. But I created a new puppet state, like Japan, like actual Japan, like the monarchist one, so that I could, this thing, give that country all the land that I did not want. And so once I did that, I attacked Usegi, right? Yeah. And this conquest was really easy. Ming managed to take the last city, but I didn't care, and like released it right afterwards. And I annexed everything, but I decided to annex like Japan, the puppet I released, because I just gained Tokyo, and so with gaining Tokyo, I decided to just release them in the actual capital, because I realized that would be better, more accurate, right? And once I did that, I moved on to one of the last places which I would need to attack, to which was like actually not one of the last places. There were like two clans that I needed to attack. One was this Ashiga something what, and the other was the one closer to the south, like in Kyushu. So I started attacking them pretty easily. They got conquered very fast, very simple. And of course, I gave the extra province to Japan, or my puppet state, Japan. Like I just gave it to them in the peace deal. So I was trying to like strengthen them as a puppet state, yeah. And meanwhile, I moved out. I moved all my troops to the south of Japan to finally complete my conquest of all the territories I needed in Japan. And so this war was very quick because I was ready for it, and it took only one turn. And now all my territories in Japan were united by this really, really nice coastline, very, very aesthetically pleasing borders. So yeah, now all that was left for me to do was advance north. Now throughout this entire game, I had developed a very, very nice relationship with the Ming, but unfortunately that would eventually or soon have to come to an end because, well, I I, I need to invade them. So yes, and I waited till I had enough money, but I didn't even have to wait because Ming declared war on me. Shockingly enough, I tried to make peace with them because I felt like I was not ready for this war. But it wasn't even a single war, by the way. It was like a coalition. But Ming, everyone besides Ming agreed to peace. And shockingly enough, they went straight for Seoul, which actually shocked me. I didn't expect that, right? And of course, now they were in behind my lines. I managed to like stamp them out immediately, and I started advancing into China itself, or at least their territories. Part of my army went to the east, or to like Siberia, or whatever you want to call that. And meanwhile, the other army kind of just held the Chinese off at like because they kept naval attacking me. So I decided to like hold them there while the other attack continued. And so now the war devolved into like a turn by turn basis war where, I was fighting every single turn. I had to recruit to keep up the fight. And see, that was the case for me and Ming. Like this is a turn by turn war. And so this war was going on pretty like, and then all of a sudden I was able to make a breakthrough, and I decided, okay, this is where I'll stop. I don't want to push my luck. Like I don't want to push my luck and just keep going. So I decided to make peace here and at the correct borders too. And so now that the borders were a little bit more, I mean, now that war in the end is a victory for me because it came in my favor. And then Yeren declared war on me, which was, I mean, it was what I was gonna attack anyways, but like, the thing was I was unprepared, so I just kind of like lost territory to them immediately, which is unfortunate, but what can I do, honestly? I mean, they actually fought hard for it because the reason I couldn't immediately steamroll them while I had the money to was because they like my provinces were they weren't assimilated yet, so I decided to make peace with them so that I could assimilate. Now, meanwhile, I decided to now bide my time a little bit. Meanwhile, Japan was here just doing its thing. Meanwhile, I got them to attack a couple of clans so that they could gain more power. And like, I realized that they were actually getting a little bit powerful. So, I mean, I don't think I do that in the video, but later on, I think I create another state in Japan. But I think I'll leave that for later. Anyways, I realized Ming is attacking Haixi or Haichi, whatever you want to call that. But I decide to just immediately, like, listen, I think this was more of like a knee-jerk reaction to what they were doing, because I realized, oh no, they're getting more powerful. If I don't do anything, it's gonna be pretty bad for me, because they're gonna have a bigger border and all that. So I decided to just go for it. And the thing was, they'd already taken them over by the time I had my army ready and all prepped up. So I'm not sure what I was even fighting for, but I think I was just trying to do it before they assimilated the territory. So I started my attack, and I started mainly from the east, and I was going like east to west. I was doing the exact same strategy that I did before, in which I would hold in one place and attack in the other. And so, just like that, the war was going very good. Meanwhile, Japan was fighting different nations back in, back on those islands. But I did not want to get involved in those fights whatsoever. Meanwhile, I was taking more and more of China, like towards the north, but I knew the north was not where I needed to conquer, right? Obviously. So I gradually moved units south and started the offensive there as well, while I was at it. And so, soon enough, I was just clearing up the north, right? That was easy. Then the first thing I did was move them south, right? And the Chinese tried to do a naval invasion behind my lines, and if I didn't have troops, that would have very well succeeded. But good thing it didn't. So I decided to just make peace right then and there, because I knew I was gonna run out of troops eventually, and thus I released Manchukuo in the north, because I wanted to create a buffer state that would be on my side, and like prevent the Chinese from attacking from multiple, like a wider front. I did not want that. Meanwhile, I built supply camps in like both the provinces near China, so that I could just like keep those troops and not have to spend a lot of money to like keep them there, right? You guys know what I mean. So while that was going on, I looked around and see what I had to do, and I got Japan to attack yet another warlord. Now, Japan started a war with Uyghur, which was like the vassal of the Ming, and so I started a war with Ming. And then what ended up happening was, even though it was a peace deal, I ended up at war right again. And this time, though, the war would be much different, because this time, you see, I was now at war with Japan. And as you guys know, I'm sure if you guys have played this game, you'll know that the AI can be the most annoying, like super annoying when it comes to a war, right? I'm sure you guys know. And meanwhile, the Ming was attacking this other like state called Kyrat, right? So I knew I had to fight them there. Meanwhile, I continued my attacks and like went on until I was gonna continue this advance while I had the chance, right? Wow, I rhymed. Okay. Anyways, I continued the attacks, yeah. And this time I took the Lao. Is it called the Laodong Peninsula? I don't know. Whatever. I think it is, but I'm not sure of the name. But anyways, this time though, the offensive was, considering it was like an invasion that was done like a premeditated, like not premeditated. Wait, no, that's wrong wording. Like an unplanned invasion, really. The invasion didn't go as well as I wanted. The Chinese counterattacked and managed to split my forces, and so that was very annoying, and I had to now re-recruit my units, right? Then I decided like I tried to make peace again, just for this like small territory. I was like, okay, I'll be satisfied with this, but ultimately they would say no, because they didn't want to. And now this is what I meant earlier, right? I ended up making a new vassal in Japan. I released Tokugawa, right? The Tokugawa shogunate. And I released them mainly because I realized my other vassal, Japan, was getting a little too powerful. And so I knew that if they got too powerful, they'd, rebel and then gain independence, all that. I did not want that. So, same strategy, like, the good old strategy of divide and conquer, honestly. So, that's what I was using. Meanwhile, I once again did the same thing I did before. I held off the Chinese at that choke point over in the north. I don't know what to call it, but there. Um, Meanwhile, I made some. I recruited some units like to go in, like through the navy or through water and land on the Chinese inland mainland that I'd conquered already. And I tried to peace deal again, but it didn't work. And the thing is, I could have simply just abandoned this entire like middle part of China that I was attacking that I didn't even need. But instead, I decided to continue attacking because what I wanted to do was create enough of a distraction. And plus, I would also cause a problem for them because, like, less provinces means less economy. So inadvertently, it hurts their ability to recruit new troops. So I decided to learn from the AI and be just as annoying as the AI is, and just do what the AI does to me. That's what I basically did. And so then once they started focusing on down south, I continued my attacks in the north, and then I was able to retake, or I think take over the Chinese capital. And so now, Chinese were like losing, right? They started losing like pretty badly. Yeren declared war on me again, but I did not care. I did not want that war. And so now I was advancing in the north, which of course was the true advance, right? That was the true advance that I was doing in this war. And so when I did that, I did the moves of that, and I simultaneously moved in the south. So now the chaos that was caused by my invasion of like the middle part of China, right? That naval invasion, or not a naval invasion, but technically it was a land invasion that got cut off, right? That invasion ended up helping me quite a lot, even though it was kind of dumb, but it helped me a lot because it caused enough chaos to let my northern attack go well. And that too, add to the fact that like China was being attacked by multiple other nations, and you have a perfect storm. And so I sent even more units through the port in Korea to continue this attack. And so I only needed a few provinces more. And once I got that last province, I was almost about to make a peace deal right then and there, ask for peace. And that would have been the end of it. But unfortunately, Japan said no, which angered me because like Japan's not even doing anything. That's the dumbest part about this. But yes, so now I realized that because I got into this war with Japan, I now needed to completely end this war, as in like completely conquer China, or else this war would not end. Like the AI would not give in. So I decided, okay, that's how it's gonna be. Then I guess I have no other choice. And so, since I had a decently sized army left, I continued the attacks. China's army was even more devastated than mine, so most of the attacks went undefended, and like I was able to just walk through. But I took care to ensure that like there were no gaps between my lines while I did, and so this war was going on pretty well actually. And so I like the only thing that limited me on, if I'm being honest, is the movement points. But I mean, what can we do about that, honestly? So yeah, the advance went well. I mean, I can't really say any more. This was just a straight advance, a pretty grinding war, and all because Japan decided that they wanted to go to war with Uyghur. I mean, it's funny, but yes. So I mean, it just kind of forced me to do this whole conquest. It's just the way this game works. I mean, it's annoying, but I mean, I don't know. It's like the annoying thing is too, like, it could be, even if it's like a vassal, it could also be like an alliance as well. That happens too, where like the AI will just never make peace for some reason, or at least it'll make peace, but after like 100,000 people are dead, and like the AI needs to be war weary, I think, to actually make peace. That's the thing. That's weird. I don't know what conditions make the AI actually want peace, but I think it's just the war needs to go on forever, and then they'll decide. But as I was doing this, so again, back to the gameplay, I was continuing to conquer China. I almost missed Hong Kong and Macau, but luckily I noticed it and I went back to get those territories. But soon enough, this entire long invasion was finally over. And I used the port to go and attack Hainan as well. And so finally, it was all done, and all that was left was the northern advance. And I called Manchukuo into the war, which so that Manchukuo could finish it. And I even sent them some money so that they could train troops. And like I just wanted Manchukuo to do something. And Manchukuo called me for a war with Kablistan. I disagreed. I did not want to go to war with the Timurids. Like now of all times. And once I realized that Manchukuo really wasn't like getting anywhere, I just decided to attack myself, because listen, I actually wanted this war over with. So yeah, so I intervened and I just conquered all the way till the final province. And just like that, China was conquered and I had the biggest peace deal ever. So I gave the north to Manchukuo, obviously, and I took a huge and absolutely astronomical chunk of China, and that too way, way larger than what my original territory was. And so now that I took all that, I had to now begin the process of letting it all go, actually. But ultimately, I had to let it all go. And so I'd have to release formidable nations. I think I released like the Republic of China, Republic of China basically in the south. I did not want to release it all as one because I wanted to like divide it up, but I decided to finally just do that because it didn't matter. And their factories are too low to rebel anyways. So, and plus the good thing is that I did not want to go through the added trouble of assimilating all of that. Just like that, oh yeah, one more thing, I released Qing as well. But just like that, I formed the Korean Empire. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.